This is the Multifamily Journey Podcast, show 38.
You're listening to the Multifamily Journey Podcast. In this show, you'll hear industry experts share tips of success and failure from their real estate investing journeys. You'll get a transparent look behind the curtain while you learn to fulfill the lifestyle you want to live and achieve your wealth goals. Get ready for the journey to financial freedom through investing in multifamily real estate. Here's your host, Blake Dailey.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Blake, host of the Multifamily Journey Podcast, and I'm excited because over this past week, I've heard two stories, not one, but two stories of people using the information from this show to help in their own life and their own business and actually taking action on it and making those changes and seeing good things come from it. So thank you to those people, to the guests who are making this happen and really just enjoying this show recently. And I'm doing the same thing in my life, right? I'm on my journey. I'm making adjustments. I'm learning from people from this show and implementing that in my own business. So you're in good company there, I guess, because we're all in this together. It's part of the journey. And I've got one contract out right now that should be signed off by the time this airs. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, been working on it for a while. That's one I've mentioned, I think, on the show. It's taken some time. It's a Burr B&B property. So excited to get that one rolling. And yeah, it's fun stuff, but that's all I got on that side of things. And getting into the show, we got Charlie Wessel. He's actually my partner on the 66 unit in Greensboro, North Carolina. We raised the money for that deal together, got in the deal. It's running, going really, really well right now, that the property is. So Charlie actually started out as a general contractor, wasn't active in the investing side of things, but was active in commercial real estate, building, rehabbing, doing things for office buildings and retail spaces, and talked to one of his broker friends in his local area. He's like, man, seeing these big apartment complexes, how do I get into that? And talked to this guy, gave him some pointers. And then Charlie, being the kind of guy he is, went out, took action, built the systems to get out of his business and take in those same things and in that same success and go out in the multifamily space. And he's seen really good success, closed 3 big deals, over 23 million, I think, in assets now, and got hundreds of units. And he's really impressive how he shifted career fields and had really big success in the multifamily space thus far. And what I love is how he's doing it with these virtual assistants, which we'll get into. So I don't want to belabor it. Let's get into the interview with Charlie. Let's get in the show. All right, Charlie Wessel, my buddy, my partner. What's going on, man?
Not much, buddy. Having a good time here in Charleston, South Carolina, man.
That's awesome, man. Two Southern boys, I guess. Well, Southern located. I guess I'm not originally from the South, but I feel like my heart is from the South, You
got a little bit of the twang going on as well.
I got the little rebellious nature, so.
Yeah.
But man, tell us like how you got started in this real estate game. What we're here to talk about. We'll throw some of that Southern twang throughout.
Yeah. Well, we had some rental houses, and that was just a nightmare. So one day I was riding past a big building, and I used to own a general contracting firm. And so I did all work for commercial real estate brokers. And one of my buddies' names was on the building. And I called him up and I said, hey, man, how can I buy buildings like that? And he told me to come into his office. I went in that day or the next day, and he told me, he said, man, you really just, you got to get some buddies and go knock it down, and y'all raise some money and go buy them. He said, but that's office space. He said, now I'll be honest with you, what you really want is B and C class apartments. And at the time, I didn't even know what a B or C class apartment meant. I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't even sell them. All I do is office and warehouse. He said, but it's the safest investment out there. It returns money like crazy. Investors go nuts over it, and everybody needs a house.
Yeah, really good. Man.
So I took him up on
not bad advice getting for your first time getting into commercial real estate for sure. Just for those listening, can you actually break down what like the classes, like B and C class, what the differences are, and that's what me and you focus on. So like, why is that good? I guess.
Yeah, I guess a B class would be considered kind of an upper middle class, apartment complex, C class, and it's going to be in a really nice neighborhood. That's what, you look for. Like a B class, you may have the Starbucks test.
Yeah.
Or
like our Midtown. It's like our Midtown deal, right? Like
it is. It's just like our Midtown deal that we're in. How far is Starbucks from this place? And that'll tell you if it's a B class or a C class.
Yeah, if you got Whole Foods, you're probably A class. If you got Starbucks right there, you're probably the B class. But Starbucks is in good areas too. So
if Starbucks is within a mile, you're a B class.
Yeah.
If Starbucks is downstairs in the lobby, you're in an A class.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's even better. Yeah, that's awesome. Starbucks does all that data research on where to locate their stores. So if you just like follow in their wake, you're doing good. But we're alluding to our Midtown deal in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's the deal Charlie and I knocked down together with our other partners. First one we did together, and we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, man, that's how me and Charlie actually came to be, was through this deal. And yeah, so good stuff. I'll get off the side note there. We can talk more about that deal later. But yeah, talking about class properties, I guess we hit it there. But I guess what I wanted to know is you're owning this GC firm, and it sounds like doing really well there, right? You had the contacts in the commercial real estate, having guys that are doing big deals, kind of handing down, I guess on a silver platter. Here's all the multifamily knowledge you need to know. What made you want to do that rather than keep growing the GC firm?
I had little kids, and I was working 60 plus hours a week. It was just a nightmare. So it was me and my brothers were partners in that, and I actually sold my ownership in that company over to my brothers.
Okay.
To start doing the multifamily investing and raising capital.
Yeah. So that's like the very common story, right? People getting caught up in their careers, no time. And that's why I love real estate, because it can afford you that freedom to spend more time with your family, right? The passive income. That's why we all get into this space. So I love that. And it's actually paying off now. So you get to see going out and riding four-wheelers with the kids and side by side. As long as you're not smashing your hand up, you're doing all right.
Exactly. Now I'm on every field trip that my kids go on with school. I'm there. The school knows that I can be there anytime to help out with whatever they need.
I love it. That's real dad goals right there. If that's not
it is
your goals as a parent, that should be. That's awesome, man. I love it. So once you started learning about real estate, how'd you get into that first deal? How'd you go from, owner of a GC firm into now, I'm a commercial real estate investor and I own property?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with me networking, going to networking events. It's so huge. I mean, you hear it all the time that commercial real estate is a team sport, and it really is. I mean, you really got to have a good team around you. We partnered up with some people from Virginia, actually, on the first two deals that we did. One of them was a 152 unit deal, and the other one was a 146 unit deal. And it just kind of took off from there. They kind of, asked me to come along and help raise some money for them and help out with some of the due diligence items and be a part of their GP, which is their general partnership. And so it went very well.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Talk to me about that. Let's break that down a little bit, because I think that's where a lot of people kind of see themselves, right? They're working this job and they want to just jump right in. It's no small feat to go from, nothing to this 150 unit apartment complex. And I always say, like, finding the right people, finding the partners, and having the strength of the team is a big way to get there, right? So how'd you link up with these guys, and how did you, decide that you could go out and raise some capital and get in this deal and provide value to the partnership? Because I think that's important stuff.
Well, I actually signed up for like a really great informational course on this back in 2016, towards the end of 2016. And I flew up to Washington, D.C. a couple of times and went to this, I hate to call him a guru, but he's a guy that knows what he's doing. And they built a good team. And I mean, there was easily 200 people there to just talk about multifamily investing and how to raise capital for it.
Yeah, if you're trying to get into this, like that's a good room to be in, right? Like 200 other people that are driven, focused, that are trying to make this happen. So I
absolutely, there was easily over $1 billion worth of real estate sitting in that room, easily.
Yeah.
And so I do, just networking around, and I found my partners there at that program.
Love it, man. Love it. Was it love at first sight, or take some getting used to?
I had heard them on podcasts, believe it or not. And it was when I went there, and I just heard this podcast, like I think it was even on the plane there. And the guy was there who was being interviewed on the podcast. And so I went up to him. I think, we had a couple of drinks or whatever. I met his partners. And I told him, I'd love to come help you guys out. And he said, well, we're looking at some deals in the Carolinas. I said, man, I'm here. I'm in the
Carolinas. That's my neck of the woods, baby.
Yeah, I'm your boy, Blue. I'm your boy. Yeah. So, I went and traveled to the apartments that they wanted to, purchase. And, it kind of just went off from there. I kind of got the gift of gab, especially with, a cold beverage in the hand with a group of people.
That's when you really rise to the occasion, right?
I shine, man.
Bring out all the stops and make it happen. That's funny. So, man, getting in that partnership, did it help with you doing the due diligence and helping them, like coming from that world of like seeing things from that GC perspective, probably just like close your eyes and have like scope of work on the back of your eyelids to go in there and really help them on that side, or did they kind of have that figured out already?
Well, you did, I did. I go into it like that, but this is a totally different world. This is not where you have to go in and do everything. I mean, you hire third-party contractors and third-party people to do this. And when you go into a deal, I mean, you have most of the time you have a third-party property manager, and they're lining that stuff up. They know the general contractors in the area. They know who can, because not only are they doing the due diligence, but they're also kind of quoting it out for you, because they're going to be the ones that do the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
which is true too. Yeah, it's a great way to say no, to answer that question in the negative.
Yeah,
but exactly. That's completely true though, because these property management firms, like the good ones anyway, are going to own probably hundreds or a lot of units in that market already, right? So they build out like, hey, we're doing a low level turn to where it's paint, carpet, flooring, whatever that is. It's going to be this much per unit. If we're doing cabinets, countertops, they got it down to this much per unit. And they have the vendors for all that stuff. So that's a really good point. And that's why I love like commercial multifamily, is because you can outsource these things. Like it's built in to the model, right? You take the payroll out of the property to pay the property manager to have the on-site maintenance and the staff, and they do all of that. So that's why it's so much more efficient than, like you were saying, when you started out with the residential stuff, just like I did. And I was like, man, I don't want to freaking be doing all this stuff forever. I want other people to be doing this because they're going to do it better than me.
No, so, that's why God made property managers is the manager.
They really do God's work. The good ones, man, if you find a good property manager, it really sets everything up. Like what they're doing in Midtown right now, that's exactly what we want, right? Somebody with deep roots in that area, knows the market, leases them quick, does the turns fast, like all that stuff.
Absolutely. And she's doing a phenomenal job at 2,200 down as well.
Yeah, really, for sure. So, man, you got into this first one. What came next? Like, how did you roll that into the continued progress, able to keep raising money and, come into the foundation of your company, Cordell Capital?
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I hired a VA and it was just a total game changer. Like, I went from running general contracting firm, I mean, we only had, I think it was 12 to 15 employees, but I mean, it was a multi-million-dollar operation. I mean, it really was. We did, I think the year I left, we were doing close to like, over $3 million that year just in revenue. And that's doing little office spaces, doing maintenance for these commercial property managers. So, I mean, it wasn't any we had some big ticket guys in there, but not too many. It was more smaller items, but we just did a lot of them. And so going from managing that to managing this business, I knew that there was a way that I could do this to where I didn't have to do everything like I tried to do before and take me 60 plus hours a week. So I hired a virtual assistant, and I mean, oh my God,
changes everything.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah. We talked about that on a few times on this show. And I know earlier this year, I made a big push to start outsourcing stuff, and it's helped me a ton. Like the amount of hours that I was spending like back in, November, December, January, as we were ramping up to close this deal and everything, like, and running the podcast and working full time and like doing my own deals myself. There's a lot that goes into it, right? There's a lot of just administrative tasks that can weigh you down, and to have that VA is huge. So I have a couple of them now. But how did you go about hiring yours and implementing into your business? I know we talked about, what's her name, Michi, a few times, and she's like, Mafi. Yeah, she's like, Mafi is like the best VA I've ever heard.
Mafi,
she's like your COO now.
Blake,
yeah, she's not even an assistant. She's like Charlie's chief life officer.
Oh, dude, she is incredible. She's incredible. I went through Rocket Station, which is a company that has virtual assistants.
Yeah, like a staffing agency.
Yeah, it really is. It really is just for virtual assistants. And I mean, they when I did it, I really didn't know what I could get them to do. I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get somebody to be able to do it 5 hours a week, but I'd heard enough about it to know that we would grow into it. So I knew I had to start somewhere, even if it was just her cleaning up my email inbox or something, and so what they did is they interview you for like an hour on everything that you do. And I mean, they're pulling stuff that I do out of me that I just didn't even think about,
Yeah.
And they basically come back with like a standard operating procedure for this virtual assistant to take over thing and what she can do and how she can help you out. I mean, we hit the ground running, and there was like a 20-hour a week option or a 40-hour a week option. We went 20 hours a week for like a month. That was it. And then it went to like 30 hours a week. And it just recently has gone to 40 hours a week, like full time. But it has been kind of hit or miss here and there from 30 to 40 hours a week until
that's
now.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And I think that's really important, because I talked about this on the last show. And this is me personally, was looking at that before I ever hired anybody as a cost rather than an investment. But I think you're probably a testament to that, right? If you can get somebody to take all these tasks off your plate, that's an investment in your time, because you're getting your time back, because they're doing the administrative stuff and really freeing you up to focus on your biggest important goals. Like for you, talking to investors and client, like investors is the highest value thing for you, raising money for these big deals. So the more admin tasks and content or whatever that your assistant at Mafi can put out, that's bringing more people to you, getting your phone ringing, getting them into your world of Cordell Capital. And this is for anybody, right? This is for everybody listening. Kind of, this is how the process works. You have all that stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right, Charlie? And they're doing a lot of that to funnel back whatever it is, clients, whatever your business is, clients, leads, whatever. And then that's when you do that high value task of converting them, bringing into the world. And then once they're in, the assistant then manages just the stuff once they're in. So you can really be doing the high value stuff, which is really awesome.
Right. Yeah. I mean, something that you wouldn't even think about is just making a social media post every day. You know, I mean, yeah, I can type something.
Oh yeah, this is something. Yeah, I wanted to bring this up, but you keep going. I'm gonna jump in a minute.
I mean, I could. I'm sorry, Blake. I didn't mean to jump ahead of you, bud. But it's just
no. This is perfect. This is like right where I wanted the conversation to lead. I'm laughing because it got there naturally.
It's so small because yeah, you could type something up on Facebook or something, but no. I mean, she goes on like Canva and like designs this awesome post every morning, first thing.
Yep.
And puts it out there on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, which I don't even have Instagram on my phone.
That's what I was laughing about. That's what I want to say is like she's out there building you an Instagram presence and you don't even have the app downloaded on your phone.
Oh, we're on Reddit, you know. I mean, she's on all these different platforms and you know, I have Facebook, I have LinkedIn. You know, to me, LinkedIn is like the most important thing to me, but it's still nice to get everything out there. So if somebody even comments on Instagram, she has to like screenshot it and she sends it to me through.
Because you don't have the app, so you're just texting.
Yeah, I don't have any way to respond back to it. So, you know, I just type the message back into Zoom to whatever response and, you know. Yeah, here, book a call.
Yeah, for you guys that aren't quite grasping what we're talking about, go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Look up Cordell Capital, Cordell, Cordell Capital, and look at all these awesome posts. And these are Charlie doesn't even know what's going on. He just knows that they're going up. They look good. They get people to see what you're doing, what kind of deals you're doing, past progress, current stats and stuff like that. And she's doing all that behind the scenes, and then it's bringing investors into your world, and you're not even thinking about it. That's awesome.
And she'll go through and she'll create like 20 of these posts on Canva, and then I'll go on and there's two different folders. There's a created, and then there's a approved by Charlie. So I go into creative, and man, I just click and drag them. If I like them, I click and drag them. If I don't, I throw them away or I edit them real quick and then I click and drag them. And I mean, it's.
And this is probably too something that gets better over time, right? Like this probably wasn't perfect at the beginning, but it's just kind of this feedback loop of you telling her what you want, her giving you feedback on, what she's good at. And it just, the whole process gets smoother. It's just like hiring anybody, but with a VA, it's kind of like, it seems anyway, and it's been my experience that's kind of less pressure because you're getting them at really affordable rates to us, but to them, I mean, they're making a good living, a good income, but it's like, and you're paying by the hour. There's no contract or whatever. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars to hire these people. You pay like $6 or $8 or $12 an hour, whatever it is, and get really good service. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. So your company, Cordell Capital, I mentioned it before. At Cordell, are you guys more focused on just raising money? Are you interested in holding and managing the asset? Like, where does your strategy lie, and really, what's your strong suit and focus?
We are focused on raising capital for the deals, as well as taking over some of the investor relations roles for the deals that we're in. We're the ones that send out the monthly emails to investors, the updates. Mm-hmm. We carry the portal that they all log into and that they have access to their different investments on. We're just out there trying to really share this opportunity. I mean, I talked with a guy today who has been a buddy of mine for a long time. And, it was a great lunch. We had a good lunch and everything. And I told him, I said, man, I'm just here to share an opportunity. I mean, we have investors. We don't need somebody's money. We have money. We have people's money. We have investors that believe in us, believe in what we do. They have faith that we're looking out for them and putting their best interest, forward. So it's really just about sharing an opportunity with people that they can invest in a way that wealthy people have been investing in for years. that we're all told, yeah, go put your money in a 401k, work your ass off your whole life. And then once
get it
you
when you're
become
65, 65, once your
70
hips and your knees are
old,
bad, then try to go have fun.
exactly. You'll have, $1.5 million in the bank or in your 401k, you can retire. And that's if the company you're working for doesn't go belly up and take all of your, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
Or the market crashes and you lose half your money. I mean, this is brick and mortar investing, safest investment on the planet. It's housing, man. Everybody's got to have a house. Not everybody has to have a car. Not everybody has to have stock in Apple.
Got to have a place to live, though.
You got to have a place to
boxes, if you're living in a box, when it rains, they get wet and soggy. It's not going to do you any good.
It's no bueno, man. It's no bueno.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, apartments, B and C class apartments are, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. It really is.
And I like that approach too. Like, hey, there's no pressure, but if you want to come into this, great opportunity, there's other people that believe in it.
Absolutely.
We'd love to welcome you in, right? Because we're like, once you come into, the Cordell Capital world or Blake's world, whatever it is, like we treat you like partners, and that's what we are. And we're going out and doing these deals together and giving back that lifestyle that, hopefully earlier, right? Kind of giving that passive income so you can go do what you want to do or save it up, reinvest it, whatever it is. But what I love about real estate is you actually get the cash flow and the tax benefits so that you don't have to wait to buy low, sell high, but you can take that cash flow and those dividends and go reinvest, right? And that's what I like about the burst strategy. That's basically what we're doing on big apartment deals, is trying to get velocity of money, get investors their money back so they can get into the next deal, right? And just compound that. So it just keeps going. So I love when you can take that, like the burst strategy, and put it in big apartment buildings. And it's like, instead of pulling out 20 or 30 or 40 grand, you're adding $1 million or $2 of equity.
Oh, son, when you get a refinance in year 2, I mean, you've never seen such happy folks in your life. They just got all their money back.
Laughing straight to the bank, baby, to get those checks.
Yeah, they're still participating in receiving the passive income from the property with the same amount of ownership.
Yeah. There's no better deal than, put in your 50,000 or whatever it is for the syndication. Having it in there, you add the value, refinance, get your 50,000 back, and you cash flowed for those 2 years or 3 years, whatever it was. You cash flowed that whole time. You get your 50 grand back, and then you hold you still get the cash flow, and then you sell and get more equity on the back end too. So
and
you have no risk once you're.
Yeah, and you can reinvest it into another deal while this is.
And you pair that with non-recourse debt, like you can on these bigger deals with the agency debt. It's non-recourse. So once you get your money out, when you refinance, you truly have no risk. The loan's not tied to you. You don't have any capital in. And you have a cash flowing asset.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Even if you get half your money back,
it's beautiful.
It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's the greatest return on investment out there. It really is.
I like it, man. Awesome. So all that was a roundabout way saying that real estate is awesome. But I want to dig into the psychology a little bit here, why you specifically like doing the capital raise side rather than, being the asset manager. And, I love raising the deals too. I mean, that's how I got into this space too. But I think, right, when you look at it, there's two different business models, and you can be like the manager and all that, or you can raise the money, which you have to have both pieces. And really in the syndication business, they're like two separate businesses in a way.
Absolutely.
Conjoined it's like a marriage between those two.
Yeah. Like I said, man, when I get a cold bev in hand, I shine, dude. And we play, I play golf, we hunt, we fish, we have a ton of extracurricular activities, and we have a lot of buddies that do it with us. So it's just fun for me to get out there, and it's fun to market. It's fun to think about different ways to get your brand out in front of people. As far as keeping your foot on the throat of the property manager, that's not fun to me. I've dealt with crayon eaters my whole life in the construction industry. I mean, I just don't, I'd rather go out and raise the capital. That's the fun part to me. It really is. It really is. It's, you can't raise the capital without the guy who's going to manage the deal.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those two sides, they need each other, but I mean, one or the other fits with different personalities really good. So, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like, I love having the relationships, talking with people. But I'm like meticulous how I run my properties too. But I love that, just building relationships and giving people access to these deals that won't otherwise. So I think you're the same way. We've talked about that a few times, but that's what I like doing, man, is giving people like access to the real estate investments and the cash flow. It's fun for me to like let other people in on that, I think. So
it is because it's almost like you're hooking them up. You're hooking them up with an investment that's just going to, it's a safe and great investment. It's going to give them some mailbox money, man.
Mailbox money, man. Need the mailman to visit my house more often. You know what I mean?
Telling you.
Hey, so I want to transition a little bit to talk about the 66 unit that we bought together in Midtown in Greensboro. So you're basically the one that brought me into it through the connection with Jake. So you're kind of the glue that made this whole deal happen. So I want to hear from your perspective, how the whole deal came to be.
Well, Michael and Scott, our other partner, the guys that found the deals.
Yep. They're the asset managers, the deal runners of that partnership. Like we were just talking about, like Charlie and I and our other buddy, Jake, we brought the money and investor relationships and the portal and all that, like you were saying. Right. And then these guys got their finger on the pulse of the deal and are doing a great job with that. Yeah. Yeah. So it's always good when you have a lawyer and a developer come to you. I was going to say, we really got the best of that.
Come to you and say, hey man, we got a great deal. We really want to, we really want you to come in with us and partner up with us and see if we can't raise the capital for this deal. And it just, they're both just super sharp guys, Michael Lewis and Scott Stamps, great guys here in Charleston. They're based out of Charleston.
I feel like I learn something new every time I like get an email or like we talk to Michael. I'm like, oh, there's some other little detail of like contract negotiation or something, like all the closing credits we got. And the negotiations with the vendors. I'm like, oh man, he's on it.
These guys negotiated like some of Trump's top men or something. I mean, I'm serious. These guys, they really knocked it out of the park on this deal.
They did too. And this is something like I've never heard anybody talk about on like a podcast, a YouTube video or whatever, as like what Michael did in that contract negotiation. I was like, man, this is the strength of having an attorney on your team, right? He went in and, oh man, the vendor contracts, we're not assuming those. So right off the bat, we saved money on expenses that helped our NOI, and then actually got a payback from the cable company, and then all this other stuff, lender closing credit from the seller. He was like, man, this is, he said this in an email. I thought this was so funny. He's like, this is what just turned a great deal into a freaking great deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hear his voice.
Oh yeah. And Scott being a developer, I mean, that's all he does is negotiate land and everything else to develop his houses and stuff. So
and what I really like about this like our partnership with them too is like I didn't want them necessarily out picking up phones trying to raise all the capital. Like I wanted them to do those things because that was their highest and best use, was to get all that set up and really have their finger on the pulse with the property. So it really benefited them too, to bring in guys that are good with relationships, got the capital ready to go, so that they can focus on what they're really good at. So absolutely. I mean, I think the partnership like worked out, and the timing couldn't have been better on it too. And I think we'll have some happy investors at the end of this one. So. Oh yeah. Hey man. And hopefully these boys dig up another one here real soon. I know, that's what I was saying. I was emailing Michael the other day. I was like, hey man, if you find another one, let's do this thing. I think too, after everybody like sees you close the deal too, like you probably seen this, after they see you close one, then all those other people that didn't come into that one, they're like, oh man, I got to get the next one. I want the next one. Oh, I know it. Which is cool, man. Cause when you find good deals, like this is a deal I would have put a bunch of money into if I had it. So, I mean, on the GP, we put in a lot collectively, but this is one I would have put more into because I really like the strategy, the location, the property. So it's like, for me to feel that way about a property, I'm like, man, I want other people to come into this deal too. You know what I mean? Right. So. I know, especially when you see a kind of a home run like that, it's hard not to, because we have to build our own capital in order to participate in the other deals that are going on, because you need hard money. Yep. You need due diligence money.
I mean, there's certain amount of cash you need on every deal.
Yeah. I mean, there can be like tens of thousands of dollars you pump in before you ever close, especially with the EMD. I mean, those are usually 50 grand to 100 grand on this size of deal. That
Easily
we're
over $100,000 on every deal.
Easily. And then you're talking about the due diligence expenses, and the contractors, all that kind of stuff in there. Like, stuff is expensive. The environmental reports, all these things, like, they cost, they are not cheap. Let's say that. So it takes money to be able to do these deals. That's why I always like cringe when I hear somebody saying, "Oh, you can invest in multifamily with no money." And I'm like, well, shoot, somebody's paying for it. Somebody in the partnership's paying for it. So you better be bringing a lot of value if you're not, like, you know what I mean? If you're just getting like truly no money. So
you can't always be a pretty face and a smile like us, Blake.
You got to bring some skills sometimes, man. That's funny. That's good stuff, man. I thought that'd be good to bring up that deal as our most recent one. And hopefully Michael finds us another one going forward. And real quick, before we transition to kind of this last segment of the show, I should have brought this up when we were talking about the VA. But what are some of the tips that you have in managing your VA? Because she's like your one employee now, leaning on her a lot. So what are some of the tips you have in balancing your day-to-day operations with her?
She's my one employee right now. As a matter of fact, as of today, she's actually hiring another one on Upwork. Nice. And I'm totally giving her that project. I turned it over to her. I'm letting her hire the person that she wants.
I like it, man. That's a truly like who, not how. Have you read that book?
I got it right now. I just got it.
I feel like the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I've talked about it on every podcast I've done, because that was like, that changed my perspective in this scenario of like the author talks about doing this. He has a person on his team who hires all the new people on his team. He's like, I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm in Hunter Thompson's Raise Masters mastermind.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as you get in that's the first thing he sends you is the who, not how book. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm halfway through it right now. And I was just reading it earlier today while I was eating some lunch. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great book. I tell you, man, turning over some ownership to her, she handles all my email, social media. I even have her now writing some content for us since she's been doing this for a year now. It was a year last month, as a matter of fact, that she started with me. And now she knows so much from me sending her books, and I'm always sending her like a podcast or sending her a webinar for her to watch, because I want her to learn this stuff. And I'll be honest with you, we pay her, $12 an hour through Rocket Station right now. But I want her to grow with Cordell Capital. I really do. And I see her really soon making some really good money. And I've always been one to share the wealth. Like, there's never going to be, the head guy who makes all the money and then all these little workers below him that, can hardly make ends meet.
Everybody's going to be out at the golf course teeing off together.
Rising tide floats all boats, brother. Yep. So we're going to bring everybody up with us, and Mafi is definitely leading the team. She is just sharp as she can be. And the guys at Rocket Station, they've been just a crucial part of the whole.
I know, man. Rocket Station's going to love you after all this stuff. They're going to get a whole new book of business.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I mentioned them to them because, it's the listeners here. I mean, I talked to them today. I said, hey, look, man, what kind of discount can you give the listeners for signing up with you guys? Because it's made such a huge difference in my life that they're giving you like $250 off of the onboarding process, where they basically write your whole operating procedures out for you. But, as far as like the content goes, I mean, she's actually hiring an editor/copywriter right now to go back, and because I'll send her a few articles and we'll talk about it, and then she just writes, she'll write a whole page on it. I mean, she wrote a 16-page like ebook Now I've been going back.
I love this story. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wrote my whole ebook.
She did. She wrote my whole freaking ebook. So this is totally going to discredit me among a lot of people, but I don't even care. Look,
no, you're doing awesome, man. This is how it should be set up, right? You want like
I'm
ownership
serious.
of those processes, but that's awesome.
I mean, for
the author
me,
of this book, the co-author of Who Not How, didn't even write the book. Like all his ideas, he's not the one that wrote it, you know?
Right.
So yeah,
and I mean, for me to sit down and think about how to write a 16-page book, I'm a contractor, man. It's never going to happen. Like that would never happen.
Give you some crayons, let you sit in the corner. You'd be all right.
Oh yeah. No, I just eat bigger crayons than they do. That's all it is.
There you go.
But I tell you, man, she writes, all this amazing content. And then I go back and what I do is I edit it so that it's more my style. I bring it into my language, my style, my everything. Add my thought processes behind it. So at least I don't have to start from scratch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't have to take a month and a half to write a 4-page paper on why the stock market sucks and investing with us is way better.
Yeah.
That's
what I try too with my VA, but I got to get somebody who writes a little bit better. So that's my next investment.
She gets me going. She gets it going. And then I take it and just edit it from there.
Look, man, can I pay you to have Mafi train my VA? I think that'd be perfect, man. We'll just make her like the VA trainer, and she's going to teach. She's going to take just her brain out and put it in other VA's heads.
Yeah, we're going to do deals together for the next like 30 years, dude. So I'll donate the time right now.
Hey, I tell you what, as long as Mafi's your VA, I'll invest with you. she's gonna keep you on track.
She's amazing, dude. She's amazing.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love this stuff, man. I hope more people hear this and do something with it, right? Like VAs are so cheap and so easy to start using, and you might not even know you need them, or maybe you do but don't know how to use them, like Charlie said. But with those staffing agencies, like they'll map it out. They'll map your processes out, or just sit down and literally just freaking write out what you do. Like, hey, here's my task. I post on social media on Tuesdays. I, do this. I got an ebook. Here's what I want to put in it. All these little things, I got to upload a podcast. I got to, put in this offer or whatever, like checking emails. Holy cow. I spend so much time in my inbox. So all those little things I can help with. This is good stuff, man. I'm glad people are hearing this from you, Charlie, because you're doing it the right way. And it's paid off a lot. Like I've seen it pay off the content, and then more investors will come too. So that's awesome. But with that, man, what's your focus going forward? What's the, the rest of 2021 look like for you continuing to grow this thing?
It looks great, man. Like I said, we I'm in that mastermind with Hunter Thompson and Adam Carswell. That is just phenomenal. It really is just boosting me by years in the
Hunter Thompson's got a great book too, Raising Capital for Real Estate, right?
Right.
I read it a few months ago. It's a good book.
Yeah. So I'm focused on raising capital. We're pumping content out there. We're looking for investors all the time that want a solid investment. And besides that, man, I'm a husband and a daddy. I've been married 20 years this year. Got 3 awesome kids. 11-year-old son and twin 7-year-old girls. We ride dirt bikes. We have a Can-Am side-by-side that's just ridiculous.
I need to get out to Adventure World with y'all. Next time,
you do, man.
Next time the military lets me away for a little bit on some leave, we'll make it happen.
It's insane. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, man. Cool, man. Well, let's transition now to the last segment. So we'll get into the Fortune 5. All right, Charlie, here we go. These are the 5 questions I ask every investor, every guest each week here on the podcast.
Fortune 5.
So kicking it off, number 1, what is the biggest thing that has contributed to your success?
Oh, man, I hate to say this, but we've been talking about it the whole time. I mean, Mafi, my virtual assistant, my family, and be honest with you, the mentorship programs, the masterminds, all that stuff really, I mean, it takes you to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge, man. I think people that discredit those coaching programs, probably like I did a lot in the beginning.
You got
Yeah, you got to use something like that, even if it's, paying for like the reduced version of the content or whatever. Like you get so much good material from those, and yes, you can learn it, trial and error just by doing it, but it's going to lower your learning curve. And I haven't went through a trading program, but I've heard tons of good stories. So if you're like starting from zero to, get to where, me and Charlie are even above that to get to that point, like definitely jump on one of those. But cool. So what's been the biggest mistake so far that's turned into a learning lesson for you?
I would say not taking action faster. To be honest with you, I've let a lot of deals slip through by me being afraid. I mean, we're dealing with other people's money here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way, man. Super
terrifies
cautious.
me, man. I've got to look at, I can lose my money. I can't lose your money.
Yeah.
So I'm so conservative, and it has hindered me from getting into some good deals.
Yeah. I'm kind of like right there with you. I've always been one to take action, but I'm a little too cautious. And now looking back, like especially last year when things were more uncertain, I was like, I don't know if I want to get into this deal, because I don't want to risk investor capital. And then, looking back a year, 9 months, whatever later, looking at these deals, I'm like, man, those are actually performing pretty well. And, when they go to refinance, rates will be even lower here in like the next, year, whatever it is. So.
Right. Yeah. And it's not procrastination. It's just getting lost in the details. Yeah. And I just get too deep in the details, and that
overanalyzing. I mean, I think it's probably better to be cautious than overzealous.
No, absolutely. But you can be cautious and still,
still make it happen. Still
make it happen. Which we're still making it happen. But
yeah, that's good. So, what is your favorite book that you'd recommend to someone starting out?
I would say. I really would say, Raising Capital for Real Estate from Hunter Thompson. I mean, you can't have a deal without raising capital.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, they say that if you find the deal, the money comes. That's a load of crap.
We found out for a minute on the Midtown deal, didn't we? Like we had the whole deal funded in like 5 days, and then some people dropped out. We're like, oh man.
Yeah.
We got to get back on the horse here.
I know. And I mean, it's that way in every deal. I mean, the money doesn't just come, if you build it, it comes. That's crap. And I even wanted to say a worse word than that, but I'm not. And it's just, I mean, you actually have to do both at the same time. Like you have to be raising money and you have to be looking for deals. So it's like, it's not a chicken and the egg. I mean, it kind of is, but like do both. So that's a really good point. And that's a great book for that too. Cause it's like focused on, a syndicator's perspective of just raising money. That's how Hunter Thompson does. He does the fund to funds, right? So he's only raising money and basically vetting sponsors and their backgrounds and stuff like that. Right.
Bringing in his fund, investing in these deals and, making the spread there. So good stuff, man. So outside of real estate, I know we talked a little bit about the, riding dirt bikes, spend time with the family. What do you like doing outside of real estate?
We golf. I mean, I live 5 doors down from the pro shop here at Stone Oak Ferry. So I live here on hole number 9. Okay. But besides golf, I mean, me and the family, we spend a lot of time together. I have a lot of fun with my kids. I have a lot of fun with buddies too. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I do live 5 doors down from the pro shop, so we can walk home if need be.
if it gets to be one of those nights.
Oh yeah. If it gets to be like that on the golf course, we can always just take the golf cart home. You know what I mean? So
that's why the golf carts have scratches and dings there, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a complete arsenal that I plan on losing in a boating accident here real soon. We do a lot of really fun.
Oh man, I don't know if I laughed this hard on the podcast yet. I'm just gonna people just hear my belching laugh through the speakers. I'm sorry, guys.
That's right. I mean, dude, we live here in Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, man.
Man, I love Charleston. Charleston is probably my favorite city that I've been to. I've been like around the world through Europe. I love Charleston.
Yeah, man. We got a boat, and so we have a good time.
Man, now you got me thinking about Charleston. I'm gonna have to come visit you. You know what?
Come on,
hold back up the car. We're coming.
Come on, son. Come on. We'd
That's
love
awesome,
to have you.
All right, last question, Charlie. Where can people find out more and connect with you?
CordellCapital.com. Yeah, we have a investors group there. Sign up. You can schedule a call. You can give me a call if you want. 843-200-9552. That's my personal number.
Actually, please don't text Charlie first. Please go on Instagram to Cordell Capital, message him there. So Mafi will text him, and then he'll text back Mafi to
exactly. Yeah, that's gotta get resolved. We gotta take care of it.
Man, I love it.
Download.
It works out. Just download the app,
I'm gonna have to download Instagram. I already see it coming.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely go check out Charlie, man. One of my favorite partners so far. This has been awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This is good stuff, showing that, man, if you get the education, like you're saying, take action, you can make it happen.
Absolutely. Hey, Blake, I'm gonna drop that discount link to Rocket Station in your show notes.
Man. Yeah, guys, check out Rocket Station too. We'll put that in the show notes. So check that out. But Charlie, appreciate it, man. And we're out of here.
Dude.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you like the show, if you found value in it, please go to iTunes and leave a rating and review. And if you want to check out more on your multifamily journey, go to multifamilyjourney.com, where you can get free resources to start your journey and figure out your path. That's multifamilyjourney.com. But more importantly, go take action today towards your financial future. See you next time.